Do you know those making an impact in your neighborhood? Maybe they're well known and established, or just getting started. Either way, let's chat. We'll be diving deep into their story, what fuels them, and how they help our community. Hi, I'm Krisha, host of Let's Chat. My goal is to connect those making an impact in the community with you, our listeners. Hello, everyone. It feels so great to be back on air. Oh my gosh, it's been a little bit. I took some time off to give the show a little bit of love, a little fresh look, shift its style a little bit. I'm trying to class it up. And I am honored to kick off my first show with none other than the infamous, amazing Miss Rachel Adams, owner of Rachel's Creperie.
Hi.
All right, cheers to the hard part's over.
That intro built me up, man.
I know, right? It's kind of good. I'm taking it. Welcome. This is really special. I really appreciate it. We little side info. Rachel and I, we know each other professionally and personally as we are CV Buckskin graduates. So I went to school with her sister, and she seemed a lot younger than me at that time, but you're not. So Rach, welcome. So the goal is just let's just chat. I know everybody knows and loves Rachel's Creperie, and everybody is very familiar with Rachel's Creperie, but my goal is to also connect them with Rachel herself and maybe learn some things that they don't always know about you. So welcome. So
thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. And I'm going to touch a little bit on COVID, but I want to talk about other stuff. I'm a little tired of talking
That's
about
refreshing.
Yeah, it's kind of time. It's time for that. So tell me about the day you realized you wanted to bring crepes to Lancaster, and that was your calling.
Well, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I guess, we opened officially in 2006. So it was a number of years before that. I was a student at Penn State for environmental resource management. I was ready to be a scientist and soil samples and all that stuff. And then I picked up a part-time job at this little crepe cafe and just completely fell in love. I just thought it was so unique and I loved it. And so I just became so passionate about it that I kind of, let the school part sort of go a little bit and just worked more and more. And I just, it just was so passionate and I loved it. And then the owners of that restaurant decided they didn't really want to be in State College forever. So they were just kind of going to close things up. And deep down, I knew I wanted to end up in Lancaster anyway. I'm from here. I never imagined living anywhere else. And
let's be honest, everybody comes back.
You do. Well, it's especially since when we were kids, it's come such a long way.
Oh, it's so much better now.
Oh my God. But so I don't know. I just fell in love with the idea and I thought I can do this in Lancaster. And so they closed up shop and I moved back home and just started looking for places and working and saving until I found that right spot.
Yeah, that's awesome. I forgot about the science part. I knew.
Yeah.
A little bit about the college part. Well, that kind of makes sense. There's science to cooking. I mean, definitely to baking. I can't bake, but
yeah, I never, if you had told me that, in high school that I would end up doing what I'm doing now, I would have been like, no way, you're kidding yourself. But you never know what's going to happen and where your life's going to take you. And I'm so glad it did. I love what I do, but it's something I never would have thought.
Well, and you kind of touched on my other question, which was why Lancaster? Like, what about the city? Maybe what about the city? How did you stumble upon your first location on Queen Street?
Well, why Lancaster for me was more family because my whole family lives here and I'm really close with my sister and my mom and my dad and my mom's sisters. So it never was even an option really to be anywhere far from them. But I also just always loved Lancaster. The people were wonderful and welcoming, and I could tell that there was a lot of growth coming, and it was gonna change, and it was gonna get bigger and better from when we were younger. And there was, one coffee shop downtown, and not really many stores, and it has, and it's just an amazing place, and I'm so glad that that's where we decided to be.
Yeah. How long were you at Queen Street? So you opened 2006.
2006, we opened. We were there for I think 7 years. So we moved to Walnut Street. When we first got that space, I thought this is plenty of space. It might even be too much space. You know, I'm going to grow into this. And then in like a year, we were like, holy crap, we need more space. and we look back now, I don't know how we did it. We had this one line, 3 burners. You know, our dish room in the back was just a 3-bay sink. There was no dish machine. And
That's crazy.
it was nuts. And I mean, there were many times, I can't even count on my fingers. Like we'd be so overwhelmed and kind of swamped, and customers would just jump up and say, what can we do to help? And they'd come and wash dishes, and they would take orders. And it was just kind of crazy. I didn't expect the overwhelming support so fast. It was just great, but it was definitely not, I didn't expect that.
And this is kind of a random question. I've always loved the aesthetics of all 3 locations. I mean, I'm going to call 3, even though it's 2. Is that you? Who does that?
Mostly, yeah. I like, I mean, as you can see behind me, I like a lot of random things, and I like busy walls, and I like a lot of conversation pieces, and I like stories. And so we just filled the restaurants with those stories. And a lot of the stuff that's decorating the walls at both locations are from customers. People see something at a flea market or garage sale or in their travels, and they think, oh, the Creperie, and they buy it and give it to us, and we hang it up. And
that's
so a lot of those pieces have stories from actual customers.
That's really awesome. I need you to come stop over to my house and help me out. I like too many things. Like, that's my problem. Like, too many design styles, I feel, and then I just get overwhelmed.
And match, and there's no rules. I mean, there are, and some people might think, oh, no, honey, that doesn't work. But if it makes you happy,
it's true. It's true. Yeah, definitely. I recently, at a particular age that I just turned this year, I'm still not totally saying it out loud. No, but I got a big girl bed, and I'm like in a big girl room. It's velvet, and I love it. And it's like, I'm building my sanctuary finally, instead of living off of like a mattress with no frames.
Milestones. That's awesome.
You know, moving on up. I kind of had some time to do some things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. Do you want to touch on a little bit? So what's going on? So we've got outside eating right now, dining. Right. Do you have that at both locations?
Mm-hmm. Okay. We don't have a lot at Richmond, but we added some tables and kind of wrapped around the sidewalk to try to get as much as we could there. So we've maximized that as well as we can. But it's still tricky. And we do have indoor seating now at both locations. We just started it at Richmond this week. Walnut's been doing it for a few weeks. But again, it's about 4 tables. So it's tough to really do much with that. Yeah,
I'm super spoiled because I live down the block on Walnut. So we don't really go to, sometimes we've gone to Richmond a couple times, but it's a little bit of a different feel, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's tough too. You have a 300-year-old building versus new construction. It's hard to make them feel the same. We try, but there's so much history downtown, and it shows in the buildings and in everything.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was trying to remember what Walnut Street was before. What was it? It was just an empty. Was it empty building? I forget.
No, but when we bought it, it was House of Clarendon.
Oh yeah, how could I forget Martine? I'm sorry. Oh, that was a faux pas on my part.
It was that for a long time. It was beautiful, but they were looking for a different space anyway because he was growing and all his dream wedding stuff. They needed more space for all that too. So it was kind of perfect for us. And before, years ago, way before it was a bakery, it was what's it called? Little Dutch Cafe. It was a bar.
Oh.
Kind of a bikery bar.
Yeah.
Long time ago. I've heard lots of interesting stories from people about that space.
We should try to honor that a little bit. Just kidding. Oh, that's awesome. So we're surviving COVID. We're surviving business. Yeah, take a deep drink. I'm just kidding. Take a long double. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what do you miss most
about pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pre-COVID.
I mean, wearing a mask for 10 hours a day is not fun. I mean, we do it and we follow the guidelines and we're trying to do our best and do what's right. And our staff safety and our customer safety is our primary concern. But there's no sugarcoating it. It's horrible. Sitting in front of hot burners all day with a mask on.
Yeah.
No fun.
No,
So I miss that.
that's
And I miss
understandable.
seeing our customers more and being able to interact with people. I miss not having, having to be able, sorry, I miss being able to just hug people outside of work related things too, but just in general, like, will that ever happen again?
I know. Mm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do like a negative.
Fingers crossed. I'm like thinking about it now. No, it's fine. We'll be all right. We're gonna get through it. We got 2021. It's gonna be crazy busy with a lot of things going on. We will survive. This is just an adjustment. I mean, I found. Did you find anything positive or good? Has anything good or positive come from?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to find positives in everything. So just, when we were shut down for a little bit, I took advantage of not working for a minute, and for about 2 weeks, I was loving it. I was getting so much stuff done around the house. We cleaned every inch of the restaurant and repainted everything. And then 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to work.
Yeah.
So it was fun for a minute. And just, having the opportunity to reevaluate the business and, what were we not really taking full advantage of before? And that was like our online ordering and takeout business. And so we're still it's been a horrible process trying to get online ordering figured out for us, but we're working on that. And we've really tried to vamp up our takeout system. And you just got to try to work with what you have.
Yeah.
And make the best of it, because we all want to come out of this still in business, and so you have to adjust.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have a 10-year-old that would be very heartbroken if that wasn't the case. Like I think she might have a slight crepe addiction, and if I ask her where do you want to go in a heartbeat, she says you. And I'm not just like saying that to like tout you up. It's just like I'll be honest, there's times where I'm like, oh, Brad, you got to pick somewhere else. Like, can we switch it up a little bit?
And that's the highest compliment, because kids, I find, are some of the hardest customers, because kids have it in their mind what they like, and when you introduce something different, they'll be the first to say, no, I don't like that, without even trying it, and you can't change their mind. And so when kids love us, oh my God, it means so much to me.
She has loved it since she was like 6. I've been taking her 5 or 6. Well, no, I mean younger than that, but yeah, she's.
Tell her I said thank you.
I will. I told her who was going to be my first show guest, and she was like, "What? Really?" Like, yeah. So she thinks. So I appreciate you giving me the cool mom like points to her.
We gotta take what we can get. I have one too, and it's like anything we can do to like look a little bit cooler than.
Yeah, I know. It's man, these preteen years are getting a little rough. I mean, you're in the thick of it too. So
yeah, we're in it. Ella's 13 now, and my stepdaughter's 19. So.
Yeah, any advice you would like to give me, I will gladly take. How is that being a mom and juggling? Yeah, like how do you have advice for those, moms and juggling all and being an entrepreneur? That's amazing.
I don't know, honestly. It's like just day to day, try to do as best you can. And my kids know that I'm crazy about work, and I feel like it's in some ways negatively affected them, and I feel bad about that, but they also respect that. And I think them seeing their mom, working hard and really trying her best to provide an environment for customers and for the staff. And I think that's something that she might not always love now, but she will look back on and respect, and hopefully that instills some strong work ethic in her too.
She will.
I know Kylie, she's practically running Richmond front of house now, so she's showing it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. LOL. Like from a personal standpoint, being the daughter of a father who was a business owner and an entrepreneur, there were times when I really dogged him growing up. He couldn't always be there for things. Not that he didn't want to, but and I gave him a lot of crap for it. But now when I got older, I was like, Daddy, I'm so sorry. Like I get it. I see it. And I so appreciate what he did for our family, for my sister and I. So it'll come back around. It's always like, when they're in their 20s or 30s, you're like, oh yeah, makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It'll come. Just be patient. It takes a while.
But I mean, it is great. They're both working. I mean, Ella's working at the shop now too. She's like helping out here and there over the summer.
Yeah, that's rad. That's
been great. Yeah.
That was my first job too at my dad's when I was 13. I was like, I'm gonna go work in my dad's office. But
yeah, get some experience and learn some life lessons.
Somewhere in there. That's awesome. And I'll let the public know that, Rachel, we are available for questions. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and we'll get them over to her. All right, let's switch gears away from COVID a little bit. So was there ever a time when you didn't feel comfortable or confident, sorry, not comfortable, confident in owning a business?
Yeah. The very beginning, mainly, I was very young and I knew what I wanted to do and I knew it would work, but convincing other people, especially people that you needed to give you money was challenging, because I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't have a lot of credit. I didn't have a lot of collateral. I had technically dropped out of college. So on paper, I didn't look like a great candidate for owning a business or getting a loan. And that was challenging. I was even told I went to a mentor program, and the guy I talked to even said, you might want to rethink this. That really shook my confidence. But I just knew that I could do it. I knew that I was willing to work hard enough to make it work, and that, I was going to figure it out. And so there's a lot of fear, and it's still, there's still times when I question my confidence in my abilities and stuff. But bottom line is I know that I'll do what it takes and I'll work as hard as I need to.
That's awesome. I understand. I've been there before, and that imposter syndrome kind of hits sometimes. And even if you've been doing it for 10 plus years, it just happens. But I'm glad that you didn't listened to them and that you.
Thanks. Me too.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, even now, there'll be times when my dad will be at the shop helping out, and customers, we were outside the other day after work talking about, we were pressure washing or something, and we were talking about the building, and someone came up and asked if we're closed, and they just went right to him, which is fine. But then they just assumed that he was the owner and were asking him all these questions, and he's like, no, just talk to my kid here, this is her place. And they're really, I'm not 21 anymore. But it's still, you still get that sometimes where people just assume that, well, she can't be the owner.
Yeah, I know. Yes, lots that I can talk about on that topic for another time. That'll be our follow-up.
No, it's always nice to pleasantly surprise them or to whatever, but yeah, you still get that sometimes.
Yeah, especially during these times. And it could be generational too. Not that that's an excuse, but it's just but it's so awesome of your dad to say, talk to her. She's the owner.
Oh, she's the first one to say, I don't know, talk to the boss.
That's awesome. So with the second place, tell me the story of opening up the second location. So you're outgrowing Walnut Street. Oh my gosh, sorry.
We outgrew Queen, moved to Walnut.
And
then at Walnut, it wasn't so much that we outgrew. I mean, we did kind of outgrow the space. We would have really long waits all the time, and honestly, a lot of complaints about that, which is frustrating because there's not so much we can do about that, and it's a good thing to have a wait. But I understand the frustration too. And it got to a point at Walnut specifically where we had so many amazing cooks in our kitchen that we didn't exactly have the hours and the positions to keep bringing them all up higher and higher. So we were like, we need an avenue to be able to bring these cooks up too.
Yeah.
So those two things are what made us really look at another space and think, well, we have this great crew of people that really want to help us do this, and we have customers that are demanding it. So let's make it work. And that was what created Richmond.
Nice. And I was a little surprised by the area choice. Not that there's anything wrong with that area. I mean, I think there's restaurant wise, it's doing better around there. They seem to be staying. And I would love to go over to that Emerald Springs Day Spa.
I think they're closing.
No!
I haven't. That's what someone at Richmond told me the other day. Maybe we can fact check that. But
it's a bummer. It's sad.
Yeah. I think there's other locations. I think that might be a chain spot.
But yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's convenient. It's a good spot. It is a really good spot.
We were first looking in Lidditz, and then I thought, realistically, I'm not going to be able to just completely let go and just be at one place and not the other. So I was like, it can't be that far. It has to be somewhere that I can just like hop back and forth, because I wanted to be able to be at both places at once as much as possible.
Clone yourself, really?
Yeah. So and Richmond just kind of came up, and the space was sort of built out perfectly already for a cafe, so we didn't have to do a whole lot of work. I mean, we still made it our own, but it didn't need to be. It wasn't, a complete gut job necessarily.
Yeah. Revamp.
And yeah, it's a different space, a different dynamic, a different customer base than Walnut. It's a different vibe, which is fascinating. It's less 5 miles between the two. So it's like a different world over there.
That's like the epitome of Lancaster, like the definition of like Lancaster. It's like 1 mile one way. It's like a totally different vibe and feel.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, like going across the river was like so far. It's like 15 minutes. Like it's like the Lancaster
different world.
It is a different world. So inquiring minds want to know, what's your favorite crepe?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's 2 answers to that. So originally, for the first 10 years or so of the business, it was fairly simple. It was sausage, egg, and cheese, so a little bit of hot sauce and a little bit of bacon. Then I stopped eating meat. So now
that's a problem. Yeah.
So
Game changer.
I'm trying to, not eat more plant-based, and so I like the veggie crepes. I like to kind of do my own veggie omelet stuff, like lots of vegetables and egg. I love eggs, and I can't give up eggs. It's been hard, so that's kind of my thing. I like the savory more than sweet. I'm not as much of a dessert person as.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I do. I love Nutella, and there's times when I really do like it. But yeah, I'm more of a savory. I agree. A long time ago, I'm pretty sure it was Hawa that told me about her favorite crepe, which was a Crepe add egg. So that is my go-to.
That is a good one. Oh, Hawa. Oh. She's the reason that we have the Thai chicken on the menu, which is one of our most popular crepes.
I like that one too.
That would be her, because she worked with me. Oh my God, that place wouldn't exist without Hawa. She was there painting the walls, like doing everything with me. She helped work there for a long time and just supported me emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
She's amazing. But she would always get, like, she would make her own like staff crepe, and she'd always do the peanut butter, chicken, rice, hot sauce, onions, and I'm like, that's so weird. But then she got customers to start ordering it, and then they started requesting it. And so eventually we just put it on the menu, and it's one of our most popular crepes that we've ever had, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is really good.
She's good at going up with this. Yeah, I tried the Capri the one time, and I was like, oh, that's a little weird. Like, I wanted protein, but I didn't really want like meat or something heavy. And she's like, oh, I really like this one. And so yeah, I started doing that one. And I'm talking about, like, I started doing that over on Queen Street. So it's been a good long while since that's my favorite. I try to deviate to others, and I just go right back. I go back to what I know. We have another great question. Question from Julie. I'm a new business owner, and I wonder how you advise Rachel. How Rachel do you advise in the beginning with no little money, I guess, on
advertise.
Advertise. Oh my gosh. More wine.
That's a really good question. Because we had no money, because I took out a loan, which was hard enough to get, and I thought it was going to be more than enough to get the place open and to kind of give us a little cushion, and I was way off. So I had to sell like everything I owned to get open, and then once we were open, there was nothing left. So, and I don't know if it was just timing as far as the economy and the growth of Lancaster that really helped a lot of this, because I don't know how if it's realistic anymore. But honestly, word of mouth was our absolute biggest form of advertising. I think mainly because it was a unique space. It was new to Lancaster. Like, we'd never had crepes before around here. So I think that the people that did stumble upon it were happy, and they were so likely to then tell people, like, oh my God, check out this weird new place. And that was our biggest thing for a long time. And then when we finally could afford to advertise, we've been we've partnered with Fig for years. I love Deb, and we've done things. We've tried some radio. We tried some other. It's not a whole lot has really done as much for us as just word of mouth and social media, because we have such a young customer base too. That's been huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I'm going to add to that also good service, good branding, you have niche marketing. Like, I mean, you've got a niche. There aren't that many great places around even now. So you hit home on a good good thing. Kudos once again to you. Oh man, I totally had a question and then I just went out of my head. Oh man. All right, we'll circle back. So can you explain to me around the holidays, what happens to you personally?
I just love Christmas so much. I get a little nutty. Anyone that knows me knows that that's my time. It starts technically midnight on Halloween, by the way. That's Christmas.
Stop.
I know everyone's gonna yell. I know that's a thing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm a nice person. And I'm sorry if that offends you. But
do not egg her.
But I mean, even in college, my roommates and I would go to Halloween parties, come back, and then at midnight I'd make them all help me decorate, and it was still in costume. We would decorate for Christmas. But I don't necessarily start as soon now because I don't really want to be looked at as that lady, but that's how I feel. So I decorate inside early, but then the outside, yeah, it's pretty great. I have a lot of those big plastic blow mold things from like
those
the
are so
50s,
good.
60s, all over the yard.
The vintage ones are the best. They're the best. I love vintage Christmas.
I do too. They're just not very great. They're not so easy to store all year. They take up the whole attic, but
I'm sure.
It's not like they compress like the blow up things do. But I love it. And then I do this. I deck out the shops. It's harder at Richmond. There's not as much space there, like to decorate. But at Walnut, I can go kind of crazy. So that's fun.
Yeah. It is. It reminds me of like the old school like Christmas. I love the shops in Lancaster City and Christmas around the holidays and stuff. It's just
they do. They really get into it.
Yeah, it's that old school time. Yeah, I've seen a couple of pictures of you dressed up like a little crepe elf.
Well, I like to get a little festive at our Christmas party. I head to toe, red and green, and the one year, oh God, it was the best year. One of our employees, Zach, who is I love him to death. He was also working at the Santa set in the mall, like part-time. So he knew Santa. So he got Santa to come to the Creperie Christmas party, decked out, and surprised me. And I almost, I did cry.
You cried.
Oh my God. Santa was there. It was so exciting.
Oh my God. I love you so much. That's amazing. Christmas is I love Christmas too. I love the warmth and just the family unit, just the giving and just the love. But I swear it's the only time that I ever go Martha Stewart and then I'm not so much.
I'm the same way. I bake up a storm and dip things in chocolate and I'm crafting and that's it. But then it's done after technically, where are we? December 26th, it's done.
Oh my gosh, that was my next question. Are you the type that's New Year's Eve, it's coming down?
Oh, I'm before New Year's Eve because I love it so much and so hard, but at the same time, when it's done, and then I'm done.
You're Santa came and went, girls. So they're breaking down. Oh my God, crack me up. Well, I'm glad that we share that in common. I love a good Christmas. Oh my gosh. So I guess kind of like an ending question in some ways, or going towards the end. If you could go back to 2006, if new or current Rachel could go back to 2006, what would current Rachel tell old Rachel?
Oh man, it's a really good question. In some ways, I'd want to tell her run, do something else, go back to science, but
do something safe. No, just kidding.
But I do love what I do, and there's a lot of headaches with it, and there's a lot of stress, and there's been so many ups and downs, but to be able to get up and enjoy going to work every day, and to love what you do, it's a gift. And I think a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to have that. A lot of people don't like what they do. And when you think about how much time you spend in your life working, whether you're a business owner or not, doing something you love is pretty important. And so I would just tell her, like, you'll get through this, you're going to make it. And, but she knew that. So, I don't know.
How does it make you feel to reminisce back to that time?
It's weird. I just picture the old shop and I keep thinking, like, how the heck did we even do that? But it was great because it was a tiny little crew of people that, we did a lot of stuff together. We could all go to Hershey Park in 2 cars together, and we could have the Christmas party at my house every year. And then one year that we outgrew the house, we had to put my living room furniture out in the yard to be able to make enough space inside for everyone to sit down to dinner together. And then we were like, all right, well, I guess that's the last time we can do this. And then we started to have it at the shop.
Oh, I love that. You guys had a sit-down dinner for your Christmas party. Oh, I love that.
Oh, they were great. They were so much fun. But yeah, it just kind of outgrew our little house here very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I have 3 random questions to ask you.
3 random questions. Okay.
Yeah. You ready for it?
I think so.
List your okay. Well, you don't really have a choice. I mean, just kidding. List your 3 favorite sounds.
3 favorite sounds? Wow, that's very interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, I love the sound of sleigh bells, which is, of course, what we were just talking about. I got one of those long antique ones that I hang on the door.
Yes,
and it drives the family crazy because it's so loud. But I love that. I love fire crackling, a campfire or indoor fire. And I don't eat meat, but I love the smell of, or the sound of, like, bacon frying. It's very, reminds me of my grandma, and, like, cooking and comfort food.
I like that. I feel like you're very, like, texturally oriented, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, like texture and patterns and, like, life to it. Because, I mean, in some ways, I mean, this is going to sound weird, but to me, visually, your crepes are very kind of, like, textural. There's different textures to them, and it's good. It's taking, like you said, like, the Thai crepe and combining unique different things that you never thought would go together, and they blend pretty seamlessly, and they're pretty amazing. So, who has influenced you in your life? It doesn't have to be with business. It can just be anytime. Who's influenced you?
Oh, wow. Definitely my mother, my sister, my grandfather. They've just all been these really, actually, and my grandmother and my dad. I mean, family, like my core family members. I've been so fortunate to have an amazing family, and they've all been so strong and supportive. And my dad was a workaholic, so I get that drive from him. And, and my mom was so nurturing and supportive of everything we did as kids, and still now. And Sarah has just always been, like, the best support system, in the world anyone could ask for. So I think, like, just my family and just trying to make them proud and to, not let them down is, like, a great way to kind of go through your life, I think.
Yeah. They're all pretty awesome.
They're pretty great.
Met them personally. I know them. Who has given you hope during this time?
Our community, just the people of Lancaster. I mean, there have been some people that have done the opposite, but I think for the most part, we've seen with our customers and our staff, people wanting to do the right thing, wanting to work together to get through this, to care about each other and not just think about themselves. And that's been huge. Like I said, there have been the negative ones that have, people that raise a fuss about wearing a mask for 2 seconds at the restaurant, which we get that on occasion, or, people that, when this all started, I really thought that it would really bring people together. And in a lot of ways it has, but in some ways it hasn't. And that's really sad. But I think in the bigger ways it has, and hopefully that will continue, and this community will continue to kind of stay strong together and get through all this and come out stronger on the other end. And I think that that's what gives me hope for finding a way back to normalcy, hopefully.
Yeah. I feel that. We'll get there. Name one thing you want people to know about you.
To know about me. Wow. I well, you learned this from meeting with me about this interview. I am terrible with technology, and I do not embrace it. And I know it's great, and I think it's wonderful, but I'm horrible at it. So don't ever ask me to link up something to something or download something for you or whatever. I go to Zach for all that. I'm terrible with that.
Yeah, I will never. You will never be my IT technical consultant. Like, no. I appreciate you doing this today. No, I'm just kidding. It was pretty seamless. It wasn't too bad.
No, the guy at Target was very friendly. He told me exactly what I needed to get.
I was like, please, dear Lord, please get headphones with a speaker. And you're like, they come together.
You sent me. It's like, I need this.
Oh my gosh, yes. They are 2 in 1. It's okay.
Yeah. So now I have it. So that's cool. I can do
See, look, things learning every day. Oh my God, you crack me up. How can people learn more about Rachel's? Where can they find you?
I'm at the Creperie all day, every day, pretty much now. I mean, we kind of divide and conquer. I'm at Walnut Street like every day, and Brent's over at Richmond Square, and that's what I do. We have we're open 8 to 3 Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays, but I'm there Mondays too, so you can see me there too. But yeah, that's what I do.
Instagram handles?
Creperie. I didn't start the Instagram page. They run it for me. The smart kids that work for me.
Oh, that's right, technology.
Remember? But the website is rachelscreperie.com. I know that.
Yay!
No, I'd be lost without them. They do 90% of the posts, and they're so good with that stuff. And thank God, because that's such a huge part of business nowadays. So it's great that I can rely on them to do a great job for us, to represent us well.
Well, you're amazing. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, anytime. Please come back. Please be my guest again. Yeah. We'll chat again.
Do it around December, and I'll like deck out in my little costume.
We could have a Christmas one. We could. Oh my God, that would be so much fun. Well, the badass woman in me honors the badass woman in you, and you can point out to your sign behind you. I love it. Did your sign say? Yeah.
Bitches get things done. Yeah, sorry. They do.
People get things done.
People get things done. Yes, that's true.
I appreciate you, Rach. I wish you the best rest of your week, and call in the community for anything you need. We got you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the support, everybody. Cheers, Krisha.
Cheers. Let's Chat is a proud member of the Candy Factory Collective. You can find the show streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And you can subscribe to the audio version anywhere you get your podcasts.
Krisha Martzall is a photographer who believes in the power of women, the power of seeing yourself in a true, authentic, beautiful way through boudoir photography. She's the owner of Krisha Lynn Photography, a daily wear of the color black, foodie, and podcast lover.
Let's Chat is produced by the Candy Factory Collective at the Candy Factory Co-working Campus in Lancaster, PA. Production support by Anna Tran, administrative support by Ann Kirby, Ariana Henderson, Robert Diggs, and Jason Mundoff. Notes and links can be found on the show post at our website, candyfactorycollective.com. Candy Factory Collective.